Hello, students. I wanted to talk to you about this final week as you write your rhetorical analysis essay. So here we are into week 7, and your essay is due on Sunday night. So let me go ahead and click into what we're doing this week. So we're pretty much up to date. I'm pretty much up to date with your grading, and you all are doing fairly well from what I could see from your worksheet. So this is the week that you are going to turn that worksheet into an outline. Here is your outline template, kind of walking you through, reminding you what you need to include in this paper. So your template reminds you what you need to include in your introduction. It reminds you about your thesis statement with this sample thesis statement right here. Remember, your thesis statement has to have the judgment that you make on your article. So was it successful or was it not successful? So you'll say X article was successful because of its use of the rhetorical appeals. So the items that have to be present in that thesis statement, you have to have the name of the article or the author or some reference to the article. You want to give the judgment on whether it was successful or not successful. And you want to name all of your appeals, your rhetorical appeals in that thesis statement as they contributed to that article's success in terms of being a persuasive article. And ideally, you'd like to mention the intended audience. So if we read this thesis statement, Jessica Valenti's article was very successful due to her emotional connection to the audience, that's pathos, extrinsic ethos evident by her credentials, intrinsic ethos, through her extensive knowledge on the subject. We're already getting a picture of this article. And fact-based evidence, that's logos, she used to support her claims, all of which are necessary to convince a scholarly audience in the field of social work. So now we have the intended audience. And if you remember, I've been really kind of reminding you over and over again to use that writing about guideline. And here is why. You need to tell me who is this scholarly intended audience for this article. You are measuring this article's success based on that audience, based on what that audience is going to expect from a scholarly article. So the big thing that you want to keep in mind is your articles are probably not going to have much emotion in them. And I know I've said this before in those earlier videos, but reminding you again. So what you're looking at is how do different fields of study present fact, evidence, and credibility. And that's what you're measuring when you write your paper, your rhetorical analysis. You're analyzing the rhetoric, the persuasive nature. Okay, so then after you have your introduction with your thesis statement, you'll have a very brief, super short summary of the article. Then you need to start addressing ethos. You have to address the extrinsic ethos, and you probably should include intrinsic ethos if you can. Giving solid examples from the paper. So you will want to remember, if you say this article uses intrinsic ethos because of the author's knowledge on the topic or the tone, the vocabulary that's used, you want to give me a good example of that. Don't just say it, show it. Remember, show, not tell. So for every claim you make, you must follow that claim up with an example from your paper that is properly cited. Okay? Same thing for logos. Now, here's where you're going to use your writing about guideline. You will say in this paragraph, scholars within the field of social work expect to see many studies cited, many interviews, personal interviews with clients. And this article, in fact, does that. It interviews X number of clients. So you want to quantify, show me where in that article that logos is used, going back to that guideline. And finally, pathos. Even if your article does not address pathos, you really need to address that. That must be in there. You must talk about the lack of the pathos and why that's actually a good thing. And then finally, your conclusion with your works cited page. So that's your outline. You are going to outline your paper. There's a sample outline provided here. Here's a great rhetorical analysis sample essay, and you're going to use this for your virtual assignment. This essay is annotated, so this essay followed this particular set of guidelines. It was this particular assignment, so it's very specific to what you're doing. So you want to read through this carefully and use this as a good guideline. All right, let me get out of that. It's for the other class. And here is your MLA guideline for citing your writing about guideline. This is your self-review worksheet. This will help you read over your essay after you have it written and do a self-review rather than a peer review. And then finally, here's some MLA help. And here is your virtual assignment asking you to read through that analysis essay. Your outline is due on Thursday, October 26th, with the final essay due on the 29th. All right, any questions, give me an email.